Hello folks, today this is Jewish Redneck Prepper and we're here with another video on the ghost town of High Shoals, Georgia. Join us today as we do this ghost town and just see everything about this old town that used to be an up and going town. Alright, join us, will you? Okay folks, we're going to try to, this would have been the old downtown area as we see, and we want to kind of like go down to the old creek where there used to be mills. This is an old area that Sherman, like an old bumper down there to an old car. I'm going to walk down here to the old creek where I think there was a sawmill and a cotton mill. There's an old bridge we come across. Hang on, y'all. My big feet almost stepped up over the root here. So we rode down here to the creek and the bridge down here. And let's go down through here and see if we can find some old foundations. See if just watch your step, y'all. What's a knife gonna do you? I mean, it's the fall, son. You'll be lucky if you find any snakes out around here now. But there's still people that do a lot of fishing down here. And there's some good fishing down here under this old creek. But watch yourself now. Yeah, it is slippery because it rained. Walk on the grass. Walk on the grass. On the grass. Step on the grass. On the grass. Remember, on the grass. Well, you got some little sand here and stuff. You can tell where water has come over these banks before when it's done some heavy rain. There's the old bridge down here. See on the other side where a lot of people do a lot of fishing and such. Alright kids, let's kind of walk back up here and walk up the hill and see if we can make it to the other side. Well folks, we went down on this side of the bridge. Couldn't find no yeah, there is a perfectly cut. That's man-made right there in the rock. Makes me wonder if some of the old mill might have been down here on this side. They said this old town here was a thriving town at one time. And over the past century or so, it's lost a lot of population. I think there's only like a couple people, residents here. And I'm going to try to walk on the other side of the bridge and walk out over that side and see what we see. Okay, we made ourselves back up to top of the bridge area. A little small climb. Can take your breath away when you mind. Kind of hard to keep up with these young children of mine. On top of the bridge. This bridge was constructed in 1958. And it kind of like makes me wonder what was originally here at this creek. What kind of bridge construction. And I'm thinking, who knows, it might have been an old wood covered bridge here at one time. But we walk on the top of the bridge, heading back toward the way we come from. And watch yourself now. If you look down there, you can see where people fish. So the water's kind of rapidly flowing, and the water flows in that direction there. But as you can see, look down there real closely, you got some waterfalls. Those small waterfalls and small rapids on this little creek. And that's what I find funny here in Georgia. We have a lot of areas, and this is a creek here. We have a lot of areas where there are rivers, they're called rivers here in Georgia, and they're smaller than this creek. I mean, it's just amazing how people think. Okay, folks, we're approaching back up what used to be the main downtown district area. As we can still see, there's some buildings left at the old store. Come on now, y'all keep up.
I'm gonna go ahead.
Wait a minute, hang on a second. Is that a structure down there?
It's rocks that been like pushed down there.
No, not what I'm looking at. Hang on. Alright, we still looking at some of the structures that survived here. Some houses and homes. Some people still living up there. Some of the old structures. And on down the creek, got a surviving home from that time period. And we got a Georgia. What's that? Yeah, but we ain't gonna do that time. We done walked down one side. And let's go over here and check out this Georgia state marker here. Give us something about the brief history.
I'm just gonna make a dash.
You coming, son? Okay, here's the Georgia state marker that gives a little bit of history on this ghost town. Says this Shoals on the Ogeechee was first called Lexington. And Shoals was the site, was probably the first woolen mill and iron foundry in Georgia. It says in 1794, Colonel William Byrd, Revolutionary soldier from Pennsylvania, and Benjamin A. Hamp brought several thousand acres of land, including the Shoals, a natural site for a dam where they built the mill. The race was made by alternately burning pine logs on the granite and pouring cold water over it so the stone would split. Off. And Ham soon sold his share to Byrd and Hamp to Colonel Byrd. After Colonel Byrd's death in 1812, his heirs sold the property to Thomas Cheeley, who built a grits mill for grinding wheat and corn. This, with the woolen mill, was burned by Sherman's forces in 1864. In later years, there have been grits mills and ginneries at the site operated by the Coleman family, who owned most of the original Byrd property. Avery, the home of Colonel Byrd and his wife, Caroline Dalton Byrd, with its family cemetery where both are buried, was on the hill overlooking the dam. Among their descendants were William Lawrence Yancey, orator of secession, and Benjamin Yancey, Jr., minister to Argentina under President Buchanan. So, folks, this little town has a lot of history. It goes back almost 250 years. During the Revolutionary, well, not maybe revolutionary times, but colonial times. And here, we got one of the more later structures, probably about around in the late 1800s, early 1900s. What we got here, looking here, is at the old grocery store. Here, over the years, it's been added to, but it's no longer up and running. And going around this curve here, we okay, folks, we want to get the old house here. Sits down below here. Now you in an area where granite stones are everywhere. Looks like an old house that was here from the early town period. Kind of like, looks like an old sharecropper's shack. Or actually looking like it looks more like an old warehouse. Can't get in there to it to see much or anything. But it's got a window like an old house. At least it's a house, like you could tell by the way it's built, dates back to the earlier parts of this old town. And as far as churches are concerned here, we got this church here that's just a little over 100 years old, and says it was established in 1918. This is much a later time period than when Sherman marched through here and burned most of the town. But this says Shoals Old Line Primitive Baptist Churches. It says Elder Philip Conley. Now, I've done pictures of this ghost town here too before, and this is the first actual live video I did, and I wanted to come back and catch some things I didn't do in my picture video. And I'm going to, if I think what I got over here, I think I got an old outhouse here in the woods for the shed. Yep, folks, and that's exactly what it is right here. Step a little bit in here to it. And folks, that looks like the old outhouse for the old church here. If you can see it real clear. I'll come down here a little closer. And there it is, folks. Old outhouse. And if you look real close, you can see the crescent moon over there on the side. That's the old outhouse, folks, to the church here. Now, what shocks me about this church, and being Baptist church, is what they call Old Line Primitive Baptist Church. And give you a panoramic view, and you still got a little house across the road. Old Line Baptist churches is probably one of your most oldest Baptist breakoffs there is. And it says Primitive Baptist. These Baptists, a lot of times you couldn't tell them any different than holiness churches and what they call Pentecostal churches. Because some of them, the shocking to me about being hardline, what they call hardshell Baptist churches, is that they believe in such things as foot washing, and some of them believe in Pentecostal, what they call glossalia. And some people say speaking in tongues is a holiness movement, part of like the old holiness movement. Give me another view side of this Hardshell Baptist Church. This is more like at the time, earlier parts of the holiness movement, hardline Baptist. And now, part of this is also the Georgia Civil War Heritage Trails right here. It's marked with a state sign right here. Now there's other buildings here in this town that we can't get to that's on private lands, but all of this is very historical, this little ghost town here. And there's a marker that the state put up here. Do a little history here on this little ghost town. It looks like they ain't never got to put the placard in. You look up close up there on the hill, if you can see through the woods. I don't want to go up there being on private property. There's another old wood building, probably from the time of the earlier when this town was here. Okay, folks, I can't go no further than this. There's another beautiful old house right up there, and I think this is the house that was mentioned earlier If you can see it in the distance. I wish I could go up there, but got signs of no trespassing, and I don't want to trespass. But you can see out there in the distance, the old granite rock quarry. And this private drive leads up there to the old house. And this was a small community with its grist mill, woolen mills, and lumber mills and everything like that. But it was a busy little community. And this road right here is the road that leads you over to Warrenton, Georgia. And this is basically the county line between Hancock County and Warren County right here at High Shoals. And here's another little panoramic view of what's left of the old town. And we're going to try to catch something heading back toward McDuffie County. Okay, folks, well, we live in the little ghost town of High Shoals here. And if you're ever down this way, pay a visit if you like visiting old ghost towns. Well, actually, we're going into Glasscock County now, ain't we? Not Warrenton County. Warrenton County's that way.
County's that way.
So this is like a little thing. There's a little shed right up there, but that shed really ain't that old. Yeah. A little old. But there used to be houses all along this road back in the day. And Sherman burned down a lot of Georgia when he marched down through here. And some of the original things that was here in Georgia done long gone. Antebellum plantations, he shut many of them down. But here's another old house right here leaving outside of town, right down here on the right, I think. Slow down moment. If you catch it, and it's probably been one of the last houses standing. It's right out in there, it's in the bushes.
That one there.
One right up there on the hill. There's an old car sitting there, and there's an old house right there. Well, folks, that's about all there is of High Shoals and everything. I love getting out and doing these things with me and my family. Trying to show our kids a little bit of the history of Georgia.
What house up in there at one time.
It could have been. And we heading over to Thompson, Georgia. The back way. Yep, the back way. And if you enjoyed this video, how about hit the like button and leave a comment below. If you're not a subscriber to my channel, please subscribe if you like this channel. And tell others about me, because that's the only way we as small channels can grow. Because a lot of our in our small channels do not appeal to everybody. But if you know other people that like history and prepping and survivalism and all of that, how about introduce them to my channel? Well, this is old Bubba, the Jewish redneck prepper, saying God bless each and every one. I enjoyed the journey. And shalom.